Hello everyone, this is Dr. G and I am the host of Talking Tea Time with Dr. G. This episode, I had the honor to sit down and speak with Miss Denise Sneed Williams, and she's going to tell us her journey of her being an 8-year breast cancer overcomer. We'll be right back.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G. I am here and I am so honored to be interviewing Miss Denise Sneed Williams. Welcome to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G.
Hey, Dr. G.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. It's an honor to have you here.
Oh.
And I felt like I needed to have you here because you have such a profound story. And October, of course, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are an 8-year breast cancer overcomer.
God.
Praise God.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring you on because I want you to share with myself and the viewers, just tell us your journey when you found out, how you dealt with it, what kept you going, and then advice to other women that's dealing with it right now.
It was 2013. I was actually 6 months late getting my mammogram. Have no idea why I kept putting it off. And I was preparing to take my last child to school, you know, Will. And I got the note I needed to go. And it was almost like it just kind of fell in front of me. So I went, and normally I have a few challenges with my mammograms anyway because I have dense breasts. Black women typically have pretty dense breasts. And so we have to go back, and they called me back, no problem. We've been doing that for years. That's what I thought. And then they called me, and it was something different about this particular visit. This time I needed to go have an ultrasound, and then they took me in a room. And then the door opened, and it was 2 people. So I knew that something's not right about this. And immediately I was sent to a breast surgeon that day, and we did a biopsy. They say no news is good news, right? And so he said, I'll call you tomorrow. Where 4th of July came and went. I still hadn't heard anything. And it was something different about his voice when he called. And he said, on the morning of July 9th, Denise. I was like, And he said, I'm sorry, but you do have breast cancer.
Wow.
And the world stopped. I called a few friends, my best friend, 2 of my best friends, and they said, well, who's going to go with you? Because I need to go to the doctor at 3 o'clock. And I said, I'm going to go by myself. It's just me and the Lord. Now, this is when you know your friends know you've lost your mind.
Yes.
Okay. And so one came to the house, and the other said, where's the appointment? And she met me there at 3 o'clock. There was an appointment at 3 o'clock. She was there when I got there. We went into the room to talk to the doctor. One of my girlfriends just batted her eyes the whole time. The other, who is a political strategist, went right into strategy mode because I heard the doctor say that you have 5 years to live. People with your kind of cancer live 5 years. That's what I heard. So when I regurgitated that, and I said, well, you know, hey, if I got 5 years to live, we better get the party started.
That's right.
And then my girlfriend said, Denise, that's not what he said. And this is serious. I went away, like I was physically there, but it was like one of those little things. What was that little orange thing where you could put a little video, the little slide in it?
Yes, the little games.
That little thing, you know what I'm saying? That's
yes.
what, and it was like I just had slides going in front of me. I was in control of nothing. I have no idea what he said.
Wow.
And I'm going to be very honest with you, I'm that way anyway. I was in shock then, and I think I'm still in shock now. So I'm not one of those people that over spiritualize everything. When people say, you know, faith and fear doesn't exist in the same place. First of all, that's not what it says. It says you were not given the spirit of fear. God did not give you the spirit of fear, but that did not mean you weren't going to be afraid.
That's right.
And so anytime you have a situation and then the word backs it up by saying if, and if, that would suggest to me that you're going to have that. I just got to back up for you. And so some nights I still wake up like, especially if I've eaten something that I should not have eaten.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying,
Okay.
or whatnot. If I have something with sugar in it, it goes straight to my system. So I can tell when somebody has given me, they're supposed to be whole food versus white sugar. My body responds,
Okay.
right? And so we went through all of that. I had surgery, I had a lumpectomy, and 30 rounds of radiation. Now, that doesn't sound like much, because somebody would say all you had was radiation. So I want to paint that picture real quick. Okay. When you have chemo, you can have chemo, they'll put a port in, and you could go with a person pre-COVID. You can go and be sitting right next to them, right? They watching Jerry Springer, whatever, the whole 9 yards, okay? But when you have radiation, they mark up your body. You are laying in a room on a table that is still encased, and nobody is in the room with you. Radiation is a free radical. So if you want to start talking about it's only radiation, yeah, it's only something that nobody is in the room but you.
Wow. So let me ask you this question, because I heard you say that African American women have dense breasts. Can you just briefly, what does that actually mean when you say Black, African American women have dense breasts?
Okay, so I don't know why we have it, but we do, which is why you have so many callbacks, when Black women, I'm not gonna say women of color, okay, because there's a difference between women of color and Black women. When Black women go and they ask you to come back, that's because there's so much tissue. I don't know why we have it. A couple of weeks ago, for Breast Cancer Awareness Month at the beginning, I posted a picture of what was removed from my breast. Now, first of all, I showed them the tissue. So cancer, I will never say never, but the cancer that I had was not exposed. So when they did the biopsy, it was this size. So the doctor took 1/3% more than what they said, and then he took another 3% as a safety to ensure that he had captured all of the cells that could even, kind of. So I had actually atypical, which is when you have atypical breast cancer, kind of means that you might be going into breast cancer. I had another cancer, was in situ, okay, which means it's contained, and then I had invasive breast cancer. So I was actually working with almost three cancers in one breast, all right? And so we went to work, right away, lymph node just to check to make sure that nothing had moved anywhere. But this is the deal. You can feel your breasts and you'll feel, oftentimes I'm feeling them. It's just a natural thing for me, right? And when you feel it, because, you'll feel a little lumpy, something, that's why it's important to have whatever test you need, mammogram, thermography. And I say this and people look at me funny, but I really do mean this. Make this part of the foreplay with your husband or with your partner, because his hands are going to feel different. He's going to feel something different than you do, right? And so this is not even about the sexiness of it. In St. Louis, 44% more Black women will die from breast cancer than white women. This is an epidemic, and it's not anything to play with. When 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, 75 to 85% of all breast cancers are estrogenic positive. That means there's a whole lot of stuff you need to cut out, right? Estrogenic positive, meaning that it is, and then invasive cancer. Invasive means that it has moved out of the place that it started. Right? And so we don't have time to be cute. There's a sense of urgency about taking care of your body. Now it's interesting to me that that gives life after you have a baby and you are breastfeeding is that very thing that can be attacked. Now, it's a whole nother spiritual conversation, right? That protects your heart space. It sits on top of it. And that's the thing that we're looking at. Okay, so when you have radiation, the way I was radiated, it was the lip of the lung that was radiated. That's on the right side. If you go over to the left side, that means that you have an opportunity for your whole lung and your heart. We don't want to play with those kinds of things. Yeah, playtime is over. My son wrote a song and the hook was playtime is over. We are done.
Right. So during your entire radiation, going through all of that, did you lose hair? How was your appetite?
I did not lose hair, but food was just whatever. So they told me that I was going to get tired. I didn't understand anything that they were saying. So they told me what to expect, but I'm going at everything positively. It was just, I got things to do. Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
I have things to do. I got too much living. I don't even know
Right.
what you're talking about. So we can redo this. No, it did not take my hair, but it made my skin really, really dry. To the point I came to church one day and I think you looked at me. I couldn't figure it out, right?
Right.
What was happening? I just went to Great Clips. I was like, shave it off.
I do remember that.
You remember that? Yeah. And I just walked in, people like,
yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so it did not take my hair, but it made me very dry. But here's the thing that it did. It made me extremely tired.
Okay.
And they had warned me of that, and I couldn't believe that was going to happen. So one day, my daughter, I had gone to pick her up. I mean, this is how I was doing. I go have radiation, come home, right? And I'd had so many guides along the way, and we'll talk about that. You know, and he was like, look, just make this part of your day. I was working for myself, and I'd already read that the only time your body heals is when you sleep. So I slept a lot.
Okay.
All right. I was going for total healing. And one day I walked into Whole Foods with my daughter. And I just went in, like this energy that I got popping right here, bang, I hit a wall, but there wasn't a wall there.
Wow.
It was like everything just stopped. I had to call my daughter. She had to come get me, put me in the car. And when I went the next day, by that day, I couldn't even remember my name. So you have to tell them what your name was, and then they wouldn't let me go to the locker for me to get my driver's license. And I missed my appointment because I was sitting there, I couldn't remember my name. And when I did, I ran up to them and I was like, my name is Denise Williams, right? And then they were like, I said, no, because I don't want to forget. Write it down. I couldn't remember. So I had considered getting, my name tattooed.
Yes.
So my memory went away. And
Wow.
so the doctor told me, I was like, oh my God, when is this going to change? He said to me, you will not recognize yourself for 5 years. I could not believe that. It was 5 years. And you may not remember when I came to church, I started sitting on the front row on the left and people would get me up. I was in so much, I didn't go back to church until I finished radiation because I knew I had no immune system at all. Wasn't no need in doing all that, right? But I went from there to taking a chemo pill. Now I can't remember which one it was. It was Aromacin or Arimidex, one of them. The first one that I took is when you saw me in action, I couldn't move, right? I was in so much pain that I told my doctor, I can't do this. We got to switch this game. Then she put me on the other one, and then I couldn't think. Now, I'm a thinker. The worst thing you can do for a thinker is do what? Make them not think. Now, what is that? I say, next thing you have to give me is some Prozac, because I'm about to lose it.
Right.
And so we weaned off of that. And I was like, this is why I'm going to trust God, because I can't figure it. And there was a chemo pill, so that's what it was. So I didn't have chemo IV. Right. I took 2 chemo pills. Okay. And I was supposed to take it for 5 years, but praise be to God, that didn't happen. Yeah. And it took 5 years, and honestly 5 years, for me to start feeling like myself.
Wow. So what would you say to other women? What would be your advice, to if they find out, they have breast cancer, or for that woman that doesn't have it but still needs to take care of herself? Okay. What type of advice would you offer?
Okay. So let's talk about the one who doesn't have it first, okay? What I'm going to say is everything that you hear, I believe that everything that we need to be whole got put in the ground or on a tree. And then things start getting chemicalized. I'm just going to speak about Black people. When we had our own gardens and all this kind of stuff, and we got away from all of that, now we need to go right back to all of that, right? When you used to have greens and you drank the pot liquor, now we throw it away. We got to get back to that, right? So you want to take care of yourself, you want to exercise. The other thing is stress. Stress will straight up take you up out of here. And actually the doctor told me, I said, what do I need after I got cleared and they said the cancer was gone? He said, no stress, no soy. Now, you're going to have a certain amount of stress because the world is stressful, but you have to be aware of your stressors, right?
Come on.
So whatever it is that stresses you, whichever person stresses you, I don't care who they are. If you say, I cannot do this, and you continue down that road, I really do have the gift of goodbye. because we're talking about my life.
That's right.
Right? Soy is very difficult and it's very tricky. That's why we have to read labels. Okay, so I've been putting something on Facebook about things that you need to, and I'll tell you something that's interesting. People don't like to read; they like pictures, and that's how we miss so much. All right, it's out there, but take care of yourself, exercise, keep a positive attitude, because and talk. Right now, we got a lot of anxiety that's going on. When you hold things in, it's gonna find somewhere to go.
You better believe.
Find somebody you can talk to. And it's not even about your pride, right? You need to find someone, you need a tribe that will protect you and help protect your mind. That's that.
All right.
For women who have been diagnosed. This is not a death sentence as it was. So you have to be very careful with who you share this with, because I cannot tell you the number of people that when I shared that I had breast cancer who told me about the people they knew who died. Now, I wanted to just go somewhere else, but I was trying to keep my peace. Why would you say that, right? And so don't look at your heritage. Well, my grandmother died. Well, did Granny tell you that she knew about it and she didn't do anything about it? I had somebody tell me, girl, don't do anything. Just pray on it and put some oil on it. And I said, okay. Well, I'm going to see how that's going to work for you, because we're going to get it out of me. And then I'm going to deal with it naturally afterwards, right? And so there is an opportunity for traditional and natural medicine to be a perfect marriage. But oftentimes you have to push that protocol for yourself, okay? So you have to be the lead of your medical team without having an MD behind your name. Because you know you and you know what you need.
Yes.
And I am not going against any doctor. This is not a put down. But they will say, don't Google. No, I Google. And I find 3 sources that say the same thing, and I go with notes. 8 years later, I go with notes. And then what you need to do is tell me why what I read was wrong. And if you have a physician who is insulted by your intellect and your interest in your own well-being, they need to go, okay? So what you have to build is a wellness team. I have 7 doctors that keep their hand on me throughout the year.
Okay.
And one doctor that I won't say, this man scared me. And I had to release him from my team, because I told him, every time I leave you, I feel like I need to go smoke weed or I need some Xanax. And people don't unnerve me not unless their energy is off.
That's right.
I need to feel well. Okay, I don't need you speaking perpetual doom into my life, right? And so then now I have the stellar team for me.
That's right. So besides you being an 8-year overcomer, you're also an author.
Yeah.
And the title of this book is Overcomer Stronger Than the Storm, Denise Sneed Williams. Just give me, why was this birthed?
This was birthed because it had to be. The book is not all about cancer in that way. The book is about cancer and the way that I looked at it. You can Google, if you put breast cancer, you get about 8 million hits, right? So I struggle with, because like, what am I going to say that you can't find, right? So I just spoke about my journey, because there is some transparency that people are not transparent anymore. And I'm not concerned about how you look at me. This is life. It took 5 years for me to write this book. I think it's 186 pages.
Okay.
5 years for me to write it, because I had to go into some places that I had closed the door on. But it's also about potentially cancerous situations, because you can have cancer in your mind and in your heart, right? And all of those things will breed in places, and it'll show up as cancer in your body.
Okay. Now, I know that because we go to church together, so I know that you are a profound speaker, and you're always somewhere encouraging people, giving words. How can the audience, how can they follow you? Where can they find you? Where can they buy the book? Can you share your information with us? I most certainly can. Okay.
So I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty active on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook to do what a lot of people do, right? I mean, everybody do what they do. I'm always there to encourage. And sometimes you may have to go a little in depth with what I'm sharing, because there really is a method to the madness, right? I'm interested in you having information. You need to have information to make an informed decision. I'm not trying to push anything other than insight. or you can go on my website, DeniseSneedWilliams.com.
Okay, and you all heard that, DeniseSneedWilliams.com.
.com, yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to get some of my humor, I have a YouTube channel. It's nothing's, you know, I did this program during the pandemic called Girlfriend Check-In.
Okay.
And we just doing what we doing right
We
here.
just
chit chat.
We talking.
Yeah, we
Okay.
talking. We
All right.
talking.
So how much is the book?
The book is $19.95, $20.
Okay. $20.
$20.
And the book can be ordered from?
It can be ordered from my website for right
Okay.
now. Yes.
Okay. It can be ordered from your website.
DeniseSneedWilliams.com.
Okay. So now that we've talked about the medical side
Yes.
and all of that,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your faith because I know you're a woman of faith.
Okay.
And
Okay.
how did your faith play a role in you becoming a breast cancer survivor while you were in it and then you came out of it?
For me, first of all, I'm in relationship with God.
See.
My thing is not about going to church, right? You know what I'm saying? I love going to church. I miss going to church during the pandemic, but what you get in church has to go with you when you leave the church. And so I'm in relationship with God. But for me, I'd already seen faith played out. My father had a major aneurysm and a stroke when he was 40 years old at a time that the hospital for black people was Homer G. Phillips Hospital. They hadn't seen the level of his illness, if you will, and they took him to Barnes. Now, all of this is a no-no. They got him to Barnes. It was beyond what Barnes could do at that time. So they flew in a neurologist from Philadelphia. My father's story is in the medical journal. They told my mother that we will not give you a penny for his life. And my father was seeing white horses, right? And so his insurance, he was so sick that his insurance was exhausted. And he worked at St. Louis County Hospital where they allowed my father to come for almost a year to convalesce for him to be better. During that time, I was able to witness. Now mind you, all of this is, it was happening, but it wasn't until I got here that I was able to look back and see what I had. The strength of a woman, because they had 4 kids, and my mother would get up in the morning, she would have breakfast ready, she would have it on the stove. See, these things you don't pay attention to, right? On the stove, and then my responsibility as the oldest was to get everybody off to school, then to come home, take the food out. My mother would go to, see my dad, come home, cook, make sure we were ready. At that time, you're getting your hair combed, put your scarf on at night, and she did this every day. So I saw faith work. Faith without works is dead. So I saw that play out, and all of a sudden when I got diagnosed, those 2 situations, like, you can do this. You've seen this happen. And the way that you do this is to just do and be, right? So I had to allow some people a little separation space, right? Because you got to do an energy check. If you coming around me and you getting ready to whatever, and the Lord was so good to me that he hid me. And so I didn't look like what I had gone through. So when people would come see me, they were expecting what they had been used to seeing, but God didn't have me like, if you knew me, you could look in my eyes and see I wasn't well, right? But I lost a few pounds, but I was steadfast because the goal was, here's the goal. The goal was, I got things to do.
Yes.
Now what we need to do, Lord, you're gonna hold me, right? Okay, because I believe, so here it is, the title, Overcomer.
Right.
We have overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So when that dropped in my spirit, I knew I was gonna be okay, because God is not gonna allow you to go around and talk about him, right? And then disappoint him. He's not gonna be an embarrassment to him.
He will not.
But I'm not talking about, sometimes people just going around and in the name of the Father. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about sincere, authentic relationship. Lord, what we doing? Now, Denise, I'm going to take you through this, right? And you're going to come up, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little whatever it is. But this is what I need you to do, daughter. I need you to tell people about it. I need you to tell people about me. Wow. And I want them to understand that, I'm the same guy. Here it is. God changeth not what he did for me, baby. It ain't because, I've been so fabulous.
Yeah.
It is because I believe he knew he could trust me with the journey.
Yeah.
However long it is that he decides to use me, because I'm going to tell everybody, I know a man.
You come on. I told you before we got started, didn't I? So I thank you for presenting this platform of transparency.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all of the tips that you've shared with us, because
Yeah.
some women are just so, oh my God, I have breast cancer. I don't know what I'm going to do. But you are a living testimony that it's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right.
And that's because you were rooted and grounded
Yeah.
in that faith.
Yes, yes,
In that
yes,
faith.
yes,
You were. And
yeah.
so I appreciate you taking the time out just to stop by Talking Tea Time with Dr. G,
Oh, thank
because
you.
it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's something that we should be aware every month and every day.
That's right.
So I really appreciate you taking the time out to stop by to
Oh.
share with us, because people needed to hear this. Women needed to hear this. And so I am encouraging you all to please purchase her book. Follow her on her social media page. She's a phenomenal woman. I've known her for a long time. We've had the opportunity to just, praise him at Shalom
Yeah.
Church City of Peace.
Yeah.
And so I am honored to have you here
it's
with
my
me
honor. Thank
this
you.
evening. I am honored.
Thank
and
you.
so women, listen to her. Take her advice. Get your mammograms. Be encouraged. Help, keep each other lifted up. That's
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
thing, because you
yeah.
never know when it will happen or when it may knock at your door.
That's it.
So I thank you
Be
so
ever
much.
ready.
All righty.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
So again, you all, I had the honor of interviewing an 8-year breast cancer overcomer, Miss Denise Sneed Williams. We'll be right back, and Dr. G will be sharing one of my favorite tips.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Dr. G, and as promised, I am going to be sharing one of my favorite teas. So today I decided to try Tazo Passion Tea, and let me tell you all this. It is so refreshing. It has a great taste to it. It really relaxed me. I was running today. I left work, came straight to the interview. So I highly recommend this tea. If you just need something to settle your nerves, or if you're a little stressed out, I highly recommend this. As always, thank you all for tuning in to Talking Tea Time with Dr. G. And if you have a favorite tea that you would like to share with me, please email me at talkingteatimewithdrg@gmail.com. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive. See you next time. Bye-bye.